We used to have a briefing from our editor, Koboza, before the following day. He gave me an assignment that I must go and cover the march of the students, which was going to start at Lesedi High School, where the students tried to write placards. One of the main placards is the one that is on the picture that Africans must be abolished. And the other placards that I'm still remembering is that it was written that we are being fed by the crumbs of education. The other one is that we are being certificated, not educated. So from Lesedi High School, they decided to march. The purpose of march was to go to Orlando Stadium to prepare a memorandum to take to the Department of Education. Before they reach Orlando Stadium, there comes a young man running a student from Orlando East. And he said to this group, say, hey, Machita, amahata sazwakele, which means that police are here. Gentlemen, police are here now. When I look at the side of Orlando East, I saw the convoy of the police. When they arrived, they all jumped off from their vans and approached the students. The police in charge, he said, I'm giving you 3 minutes. You must disperse from here. Then the students start to sing the song which was banned in South Africa, was Nzima Africa. And he pulled out his gun and shot the crowd of the students. And they ordered other police, say, skit, means shoot. The hell was loose. Police were just shooting at random. I saw the little boy fell down, and Mbuyisa Makhubu picked up Hector Peterson from the ground, and he came out with him. So I was busy taking the pictures of him as he was coming. They thought that once we use this picture in the press, it's going to spark a civil war in South Africa. They've agreed that come what may, we are using this picture to the press. By 3 p.m., a paper was printed, and this picture was the front page of the world newspaper to symbolize what was happening on June 16, 1976. The youth of Soweto were fighting for their rights.
People are talking about what was happening in the township, that the march didn't go right, because the police shot the kids and some of them had died. So when you got into Mzimhlophe, you just saw that there was a cloud of smoke. You know, it just felt like something was really wrong. My mother bought a copy of the paper, I think it was The World at the time. And on the first page, there was Mbuyisa with this little boy.
The image is very graphic, and very graphic about what the police had done. And I think the image brought home the atrocity committed by the apartheid state. But Sam Nzima worked for the World newspaper, which was quite political in its reporting and represented black experience and black lives in a way that most of the other white-controlled media did not.
I was taking his picture as journalist to report what was happening. But because of that exposure of Mbuyisa carrying Hector Peterson, Mbuyisa was in a problem. Mbuyisa was not a politician, was just a student. But just because he was a concerned student, wanted to help Hector Peterson, he involved himself in a big problem. From that day, Mbuyisa was most wanted man by the police. He was hiding all the time. He got that information that they want him.
His life was different now. He wasn't free. He wasn't happy. And these people are looking for him. So at the time, he didn't know who to trust. He never spoke to anybody. He wasn't eating well, he wasn't sleeping well, he lost weight. He was so depressed, it was really hurting. These guys were very angry. They wanted to get him and punish him like they punished a lot of people under Section 6 or Section 10 of the Terrorism Act. Now he was really a target. It was well known that if they find him, he won't survive. So he left in August.
At that time, many activists were harassed by the system, of apartheid, the Secret Service police. Every activist who was involved has experienced the torture in John Foster Square, the brutality of the police here. There were people who were helping kids to run away, they were driving them to Nelspruit or next to the borders of Botswana. And those people didn't belong to any organizations. As people were driven by the situation that was happening then and the brutality of the police and the soldiers, you know.
Mbui. This was a quote that my mother said when she was asked if she thought that Mbuyisa was a hero. He repeatedly said the same thing, that he never believed that Mbuyisa was a hero because it's a cultural thing, it's a black thing to pick up your brother when he's in trouble, when he needs your help. Mbuyisa is or was my son, but he's not a hero. In my culture, picking up Hector is not an act of heroism. It was his job as a brother. If he left him on the ground and somebody saw him jumping over Hector, he would never be able to live here. It's a quote by Mama Makhubu, Mbuyisa's mother. That's my mother, Nontsikelelo Elizabeth Makhubu. We as people, like people talk about Ubuntu. If anything happens to another person next to you, you have to jump and help them. Because really, like my mother says, he would never be able to live here. People are going to find out, what animal are you? What monster are you? I mean, we left a guy there and he died. Because you don't have to say, I know him or I don't know him. You just help a person when they need help. Like an old lady going across the street. She's walking slow, she's got a walking stick. That's how we were brought up, that's how we were taught. Help people.